I got everything packed up here. It's about 6:58 in the morning on a Wednesday. And I printed out my gear list, food, printed out. This is the Skookumchuck Narrows tides. And this is Seychelles Rapid Currents. And then I printed out weather from Weather Underground and a couple more tides for locations up there, Half Moon Bay and Egmont. Fraser. I just pulled up to Martin Marine. I'm gonna try to grab a chart here. This little shop ended up being a great place to find local charts of the area. Guess I'm gonna be bringing that big chart with me on the water. I have to fold it up in the kayak. But it is nice to have a paper chart. All right, made it to the ferry. So we made it to Secret Cove. Basically, you just got to pull the boat down this little ramp. Started moving everything in these IKEA bags down to the ramp. There's the Secret Cove Marina. So I guess that's private. And then this little dock here is the government-owned dock. So it says you get an hour grace time, but I don't think they care about kayakers. So I got my kayak down there on the end, next to all those boats. Alright, so I'm about ready to launch. Just checking this water out. I don't know if it's potable or not, so I walked down to the store, and the store closes at 5 over there. So I'm not sure if there's potable water here. I'll find out and put it on the video. Type it here. Anyway, here's the dock. But I did bring this bag of 10-liter water until I can get new water. Alright. And we're off. Smuggler's Cove Provincial Park. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and make this crossing. About a kilometer over there. Here we go. Also got to be careful of boat traffic here. This crossing across Welcome Passage is about 1 kilometer from Smuggler's Cove to Thormanby. The landforms cause a tunneling effect through these channels, so always good to keep that in mind. The flood is going north and the ebb is going southward, although the currents were not too strong, maybe 1/2 to 2 knots. You can see from the trees the wind almost, well, the wind goes this way quite a bit. Just saw a little river otter pop up in front of me. I think it was a river otter, not a sea otter. Alright, that looks like a nice beach. This is gonna be our first camp. It's nice. Alright, all set up in camp. Even have this nifty little table here. Somebody even put screws in it. Kind of crazy. We have some pad thai. The starship in the canoe. Getting ready to set out here. Beautiful morning to put the dry suit on. It was really hot and sunny early this morning, but the clouds have come out just a little bit. It's nice to have a little cloud cover to put a dry suit on. Head out around the corner into Jedidiah Island. Check the windy app, and there is not going to be any wind today, so perfect day for this 5-mile crossing. Oh, them starfish. Little mussels. Look at them all. Alright, so that's North Thormanby or whatever, however you say it. And that's that grassy point camp down there with the sailboat next to it. Would have made this crossing a lot faster had I just camped there. But kind of wanted to check out the other side of South Thormanby. Thormanby. Look at all these houses with nobody in them. Okay, so we are at the northern tip of whatever, Thormanby. And this is Texada. That's the southern tip right there, and then you can kind of see the next island behind it is Lasqueti, and Jedidiah is in between those two. So that's about a 5-mile crossing to that southern tip. So there's really not much current right now. It seems like max current in there is about a half knot anyways. So don't really see any current. Radio on for crossings, just in case you pick up any boat traffic. Don't really know what the channels are in Canada. I think 12 is the emergency one. Oh, also, it took me about 40 minutes to paddle from camp to the northern tip of this island. Probably about midway through this crossing, and this is probably about as calm as it could get. Apparently, it makes sense, these two down this Malaspina Strait and the strait on the other side, you'll get some wind funneling effects when there is wind through here, probably mostly from that direction. I made it across to the southern tip of Texada Island. I think that crossing took about not 2 hours, about an hour and a half actually. About an hour and a half for a 5-mile crossing. Not too bad. It is a long crossing though. It gets tedious. That's a stop on the south tip. I was gonna eat lunch, but I'm just gonna head over to Jedidiah here. So another kilometer crossing or so. Yeah, according to my GPS, this is the entrance to Home Bay. It's a very unassuming entrance. Hard to tell anything's in there. It should be called Secret Cove, other than that blue sign over there. And a little white sign on the tree over there too. When I arrived into Home Bay on Jedidiah, the tide was out, so I sat and read my book while the tide came in before paddling the kayak around the corner and into camp. It's a bit of a pain to time, but also nice because it keeps all the other boats out of the bay. It's a pretty special spot, and it's pretty easy to see why someone made the effort to set up a homestead within this little bay. There is no fresh water on this island, maybe over on Texada. If I figure it out, I'll put it in this video because it's not very obvious where to get it from nearby. I brought 12 liters out here and I've already gone through half of that. I think I just drink a lot of water too. It's also been hot and sunny today. But yeah, one of the big disadvantages of saltwater versus river camping, where you can boil the river water or use the river water, or there's side streams coming in. There's just not a lot of fresh water out here, surprisingly. Water everywhere and not a drop to spare. These mangy sheep just scared me. They look like they've been out in the wild for a while. Apparently they were part of the old homestead. Gonna go over to Texada this morning while the tides are still up so I can get out of the bay without having to carry my boat around. It is a little bit windy this morning, so we'll see how this crossing goes. A little bit of wind, or just like, I don't know, 3 or 4 knots of wind maybe. No real white caps forming yet. There's a nice little spring or a fissure there. Beautiful. Beautiful sight, fresh water. Cross back over to Jedidiah Island and then on to Jervis on the west side, which is that one. Should be sheltered from the wind. Wind's picked up a little bit. There's some, in Sabine Channel over there, there's some breaking whitecaps in that kind of tightest part over there. You can see a few out there. That's the northern tip of Jedidiah right there. And that is Jervis. Around in the, I guess this is the southwest tip of Jervis. Made it to Jedidiah Island and just set up the tent and a little rain shelter just in case. Have a place to read. Pretty nice spot. Incredible view. So the winds really shifted last night, coming out of the northwest now. So coming directly at this point into Jervis. Yesterday they were coming out of the southeast actually. Anyways, it's nice to have this weather app right here where you can just text and get a weather forecast update a little bit. So, and the wind and the current right now, the ebb and the wind are going in the direction of Bull Passage the way I want to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and head down to Squiddy Bay, check that out, and then I might just head back today based on the wind. We'll see how I'm feeling after that. I've got enough food for a couple more nights, but I think the wind and the rain might make me just head back. We'll see. So we got the ebb current and we got a light breeze at our back, and we are cooking. Just went by Jervis in like 5 minutes. I think we're just gonna shoot right through Bull Passage here at just past max ebb. Kinda nice. You can see a little eddy forming over there. So this is one of the first currents I've actually been able to use to my advantage on this trip. It's so nice to have moving water. Coming up on Squiddy Bay, you can see the masts over there. It's like a cool little bay. It's supposed to be a stream here. I think you're supposed to be able to get water here, but the stream looks very dry. And walking around here, I don't see anywhere to get water. So, good thing I didn't rely on Squiddy Bay for water. Apparently they don't really like dogs here. They said running loose are liable to be shot. I just made the crossing from Lasqueti to Texada, and there's Jedidiah in the middle. The crossing from Lasqueti, from Squiddy Bay, took about an hour. Yeah, about an hour from Squiddy Bay to Texada. Current is starting to flood a little bit, so going that way. I have noticed in the Sabine Channel there is more traffic, more shipping traffic, it seems like, than in the Malaspina Strait over there. It's kind of interesting because it's smaller, but and there's a pretty strong current line right here. It's still pretty early in the flood. It's just kind of that cornering effect. There's also kind of a cornering effect with the wind on the southern tip of Texada here coming around. So it's taking a little bit of work to get up around it, but just hugging the coastline makes it pretty easy. All right, 5 miles again. All right, just made it back and took a bath here at Secret Cove with their